Hey there, thank you for joining me, Stanley, on the Saturday. It's a very different Saturday, and we have a slightly different Saturday video. We have a different setting for the Saturday video as we are in my garage. And this is going to be the first of the more devotional videos that get put out. I'm also going to be releasing a uh, devotional practice video, and I'm going to be making up videos shortly that go over the confirmation class that I'm teaching at the churches. It's kind of covering confirmation, baptism, new membership, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be posting videos for that coming up, and we'll see where all these videos take us. But with some of the devotional videos, I'm going to be sharing some insights that I'm getting from devotionals that I'm using. I get emailed a lot of devotionals, and one of the devotionals that I get every single day. It's called Devotionals Daily. It is by a group called Faith Gateway Today, and they take excerpts of already written books. Most of the emails they send are excerpts of books that they sell, or they will ask an author who's written a book to write something special for them that's connected to one of their books. And this is an excerpt from a book written by Lisa TerKeurst. The book is called It's Not Supposed to Be This Way. And for those of you who may not know Lisa TerKeurst, she is a big name Christian women's author. She worked for a group called Project 31. She was leading that group for a while. She's written a number of Christian books, and then her and her husband had a very rough patch with their marriage that was largely caused by her husband, and they made the difficult decision to try to work through it. A decision that's not for everyone, but they decided that was what they were going to do. And as they begin trying to work through all of this, Lisa TerKeurst found out that she had cancer. And this writing is kind of in response to all of this that's happened. And I'm just going to take a brief snippet from the excerpt that I was sent. But whenever I've been thinking about really difficult times, as soon as I read this, I knew I needed to share it, because whenever I think about going through really difficult times, this excerpt really speaks to me. So I hope that this speaks to you. I'm going to talk about it a little bit after I read it. But this is Lisa TerKeurst. I learned about these very necessary pieces and parts one day when a couple of girls introduced themselves while standing in line to get some takeout food at a restaurant near my house. Pauline and Jessica had both read my book uninvited. We chatted for a minute about what God had been teaching them, and then the topic of what I'd be writing next came up. I told them about this book and the revelation God had given me about dust. Jessica's eyes lit up. Her mom is a professional potter. As I shared how when we place our dust into God's hands and He mixes it with His living water, the clay that's formed can then be made into anything, she smiled so big. She'd seen clay being formed into many beautiful things when placed into her mother's hands. And then she shared something with me that made my jaw drop. She told me that wise potters not only know how to form beautiful things from clay, but they also know how important it is to add some of the dust from previously broken pieces of pottery to the new clay. This type of dust is called grog. To get this grog, the broken pieces must be shattered to dust just right. If the dust is shattered too finely, then it won't add any structure to the new clay. And if it's not shattered enough, the grog will be too coarse and make the potter's hands bleed. But when shattered just right, the grog dust added to the new clay will enable the potter to form the clay into a larger and stronger vessel than ever before. And it can go through fires much hotter as well. Plus, when glazed, these pieces end up having a much more beautiful, artistic look to them than they would have otherwise. Jessica smiled and said, "Come on, that'll preach, right?" Oh, it absolutely did. I kept thinking about what Jessica shared and how it might relate to my season of suffering. What if the clay made from all the other dust currently in my life could be strengthened by this newly added broken piece? And then I read Isaiah 45:9. Woe to those who quarrel with their maker, those who are nothing but potsherds among the potsherds on the ground. Does the clay say to the potter, what are you making? Does your work say the potter has no hands? God is making something beautiful out of my life. I know that. So why question what he sees as the necessary ingredients to make my life stronger and more beautiful than ever? Sure, my diagnosis added some more brokenness, but even this could be used for my good. Lisa Turkers goes on and she says that she hates that she has cancer. There's nothing that she can say that makes that okay. And I know that that is the way we feel when we go through broken times. There's nothing within us that makes the hard times okay. We plaster on cliches and act like things are fine, but they're not. They're just not okay. And we don't feel okay when we go through them. But we don't have to feel okay when we go through them. These broken pieces can destroy us. They can just be another fact in our life. Or God can take them and make them into something better. Lisa Turkhurst says God didn't cause her cancer, that it's a result of living in a broken world, and I second that. God doesn't cause bad things to happen. Bad things happen in the world because we don't live in a perfect world, and God didn't cause the world to not be perfect. But God is more than able to take any brokenness and to take any pain and mold it into something beautiful, something wonderful, something beyond our wildest imagination. We are going through a time right now that feels so broken. It is easy at the drop of a hat to be overwhelmed. It's easy to be overwhelmed just watching the news. It's easy to be overwhelmed thinking about the coronavirus and how mysterious it is and how dangerous it can be to so many people. It's easy to be overwhelmed from the economic downturn that we're experiencing now. It's easy to be overwhelmed with all of the restrictions that we are facing right now. Not being able to go out and get into large gatherings, not being able to eat out at restaurants, not being able to see family and friends that we might want to see. It's so easy to be overwhelmed with all of it. And that's just the stuff that all of us are dealing with, let alone any personal pain that gets added on to that. It's so easy to be overwhelmed. But God is a master potter. God knows how to take all of these painful things that we have, all these things that crush us, and make sure that instead of us just being crushed and left as dust, that we get crushed just right for God to use us to make something incredible, to make something so beautiful that when we get a chance to see it at the end, all we can do is step back and say, wow. I pray that we would be able to, that we would do our best every day to just pray, God, I know right now I'm broken, but I am going to release all these broken pieces and trust them into your hands. And I am praying that you give me the faith to trust you to make something beautiful out of all of these broken pieces. Thank you all for joining me today. God bless you.